For those of you watching tonight, I decided to give you a nice honey-coloured studio. It's positively bathed in that gorgeous warm glow. Hello and welcome to This Much Is True, where I pop up every so often. Yeah, and I just say hello. So what are we? We're like half an hour away from the 29th. So this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, and a new one's just begun. Hopefully we'll see the new one quite shortly. You might be happy to see the back of the old one, or it might have been, if you're like me, not a bad year at all. Good year. Good year for travel, good year for business, good year for innovation with the Scary Era podcast. I've just finished recording episode 6. It goes live on Monday, and it's going to feature an interview with a witch, yes. The lovely Yvonne Lawton down in Youghal in Cork on all things witchy. And then we'll shoot across to the west of the country and team up with Philip Costello. He's actually known as Philip Elvis Costello because he loves Elvis. And he actually does a fantastic impression of Elvis. But I don't want to get away from his paranormal credentials because he is representing Paranormal Awakenings Ireland, based in the aforementioned Galway. So yeah, it's been a good day as well. Productive. Got the studio cleaned. Even did the windows of the studio. Give it a good tidy in here. And business has come in. You know, it's kind of the phony war time of year. It's quiet, silly season. And yet business is coming in, which is good to see. So I hope everybody's keeping well. Get in touch, of course. This Much Is True at protonmail.com. Yeah. What was I thinking today? I was thinking it's nice to be a certain age where you can laugh at things that would have previously upset you. And I actually have an example, and it's no big deal. But when I was doing my Christmas greetings, there's a little candle. Nice. When I was doing my Christmas greetings a couple of days before Christmas, I saw this guy's name. And I wrote him 3 or 4 lines of email. And it just recalled the old times where we were business colleagues. He was in charge of a really big organisation, and he gave me great access to the place that other people would have died for the access he gave me to this major corporation as a vendor. He gave me the permission, and we got on great, always did. And so I got on LinkedIn. I just said, hey, how's it going? Remember this, remember that. Just a few lines, nothing too much. And an hour or two later, I got back, thanks. You know, and I remember there would have been a time I would have been very put out about that. I would have been analysing it. I would have taken it very, very personally. And instead, the 61-year-old in me, first of all, found it funny that we'd been through all that. And it wasn't just compensating myself. I just found it funny that, you know, all that experience, all that time together, all those coffees and drink and meals and everything was reduced to thanks. And I'm not putting it on. I just found it funny. And the new me analyses it and says, well, hold on a second. There's the guts of 20 years under the bridge. The guy is still in a very powerful position. He probably just cuts and pastes these at this time of the year. I don't believe it's personal. I wouldn't see it as a snub. There's people get their knickers in a knot. I actually just thought it funny. And it reminded me of a guy I used to work with. And we were in sales together. And we bumped into each other years after we worked together. And he was telling me about this boss that we both had. Now, the boss was tight. He was a real Scrooge character, you know. Just mean in nature. That was his way. And I remember once the carpet frayed in the office. And, it just got trampled over years. And he was so mean, he put sellotape. Now, health and safety would have had a lot to say about that. And I should know because I voice a lot of health and safety things. Anyway, so he said to me, you know that so-and-so? And I said, oh, sure, for God's sake. Yeah, I do, of course. And he said, well, years back, just before I left the company, I presented him with this now, the book was an expensive book. It was, I'm not going to name it. It would just be tacky to name it. But it was called One Digital Day, and it's a collector's item, and I have one. But my friend decided it would be a good idea to lick the boss's, or his former boss's, arse by saying, here you go, here's a present. And he told me when he presented it to this guy, his response was, huh. And my friend was very put out about this because, well, it served him right. In my mind, I was saying it serves you right for trying to lick his arse anyway. But I do understand. I mean, a bit of gratitude, it's so easy to give. But instead, this thing cost a few bob, I can tell you. And I felt like saying, well, we all know what he was like anyway, so what else do you expect? It's just that people... You just live and you learn. And if you don't, it's a sad look out for you. There are people, in my life who would say, behave like this. This is what I want you to behave like. You should do this. And in my mind, I really am just like an ice cube melting. And I'm just going, fuck off. Just fuck off. I couldn't be arsed. I want you to behave like this, and I am put out if you don't. Now, don't get me wrong. If it's something really of importance, I would like to think that I do have the cop on enough, and the intelligence, and the nous, and all those words, or politeness or civility, to acknowledge the situation as they would see it. But when it is something totally trivial, and you're trying to stamp your little stamp of you will do such and such, and it's wrong that you don't, I really do say at this stage of my life, fuck off. And it's very cathartic, because also it takes the angst out of yourself, the angst from your pants. Who wrote an album called Angst in My Pants? Name that. Sparks wrote it, just to stop you Googling it and telling me. So I can see the Christmas tree from here. It's beautiful. We've had a lovely Christmas, and I hope you had as well. We had a lovely, civilized Christmas. I got all my family together again. They're the only thing in my life. Once I have my daughters and my wife, everything else, fine. But you're my crew, and we had a great laugh together, and my eldest is back from New York, and she's been living the life, and I'm so happy for her, and her sister, of course, was waiting for her, and the two of them have been going out and having a few drinks and going out walking, and myself and my wife just are happy to sit around the table with them and see them flourish. And that's like all you can do. Gotta let them go. And our neighbours were around as well, so we had a few drinks with them, and that was nice. We did lose a neighbour this year who took his own life, as you probably know, and that wasn't quite the same. Yeah. I want to say hello to Jerry. Hiya, Jerry. Of course, Sue. Yes, Tara. And Nigel as well, who I know look in regularly. A few extra subscribers as well have popped on board, so welcome aboard, those of you who aren't bots, and quite a few are. As you know, this much is true. Kind of disintegrated this year, and yet here we are on the cusp of a year. It went live on January 2nd last year, and continued very steadily right up until July, when I thought I'd have a break of a month, then I turned into 2. And that was to lose weight. You remember that? A lot of good that did. But I remember taking a break from it because I was just going around in circles anyway. And the loyal crew are here. And we're all of a certain age and we enjoy each other's company. Do check out Ray's rants. I still listen to Ray. Ray is 73 years young and I just love his attitude. He's very English and nothing really gets him down. And when I want to go to sleep, I listen to Ray. I put him in. And, you know, for a man who is that age, and it's a fine age, and as he says himself, I'm not old. And, you know, he's not even, I don't even believe he's, actually, he's got very good genes because his mother is still alive and she's in her 90s. But Ray's rants from the southeast of the UK is a great guy. So, hello to all my American friends as well. You all know who you are, as well as my English friends and those of you in other countries too. I'll be in touch during the year, probably to do with Scary Era, but you know yourself, I'm beating the bushes here and there. I hope to get that show on radio as well. I think I mentioned that last time around on local radio. But as we enter a new year, I just wish you health. And health is so important. I've a few pounds, but I walk. On Christmas morning, myself and my wife went out to Merry and Strand and we walked for an hour in the glorious morning sunshine. And you know, keep it busy, keep it moving around is important. It's just as important as diet. And caught up on Outnumbered last night for those of you in the UK. I haven't seen Outnumbered in years and everybody's grown up in it. It used to be 3 cute kids and now they're young people, young adults. And the parents are getting older looking. And I think Claire Skinner now, who was always, still is, fine looking woman, but I could see the age, you know, and it's not kind to any of us. We're all just getting a bit kind of, the facade goes a bit. She's still a good looking woman, don't get me wrong. But I just thought, you look tired, Claire. And the guy as well, is it Hugh Dennis? He looked, now he was made to look a bit ill as well because in it he has prostate cancer. I came close to that myself 2 years back and my readings were very high, but luckily, touch wood, everything was fine on that front. So do check that out, guys. It's not to be taken lightly. Yeah, so look, I'm still laughing at stuff. You know, please put everything in proportion, you know. Even, and if it's stuff that used to upset you before, just kind of see it for what it is and laugh. And you kind of go, God, I wish I'd seen the world as I do now years ago. You know, I'm saying that. I mean it. You know, you just kind of go, what? And the problem with myself is I lived for many years, such a pressured existence in terms of performing for business. Such a pressure, and it was pressure. It was all performance related. And it haunts me. I have to say to you, and in the scheme of things, it is minute and universal. I get it. I really do. But whatever got a hold of me in my, whether it was anxiety or whatever, by the time I got to my early 20s, and by the time I got into the business world, I was under pressure. A lot of it self-imposed. Sure, there were targets, all that. But I had to perform. I had to get every sale I could. I had to compete. I had to be better than the next guy. All that shite is what it was. And you will never be better than the next girl or guy. There's always going to be somebody better. And that's called evolution. It's the way it should be. And by the way, don't get too cocky if you are the best at something, because I can assure you there's a piece of technology probably at this point lolling in the corner, just awaiting for its chance to lob your self-important head off. Speaking of which, I saw two dead foxes when we were out the other night. And one had its head lobbed off. And I said it to my wife, and she said, "Did you have to tell me that?" I kind of did it deliberately to, I don't know, there was something just nasty in me just went, oh, its head is lobbed off. Because she saw the corpse and she was trying to avoid it. And I had to give her a bit of graphics, you know. I shouldn't have done that. It was the nasty person in me. So this is a good writer, by the way. I think it's a cross. I've had a few of these. They're beautiful. And I do fill in a diary. I'm on to 11 years. If the Lord spares me for the next 2 days, I'm on to year 11 of keeping diaries. Now, sometimes the pages go by and don't get filled in. This year as well, I started drawing a lot. For a while, I had a few months of drawing in the diary. Yeah, and that died out. And it's a pity because I thought I'd expand my field of therapy. Because my handwriting, I've a 1989 diary, and it is like something out of Peter and Jane. Do you remember that? The writing is just so perfect. And then as I got to be a cranky old fella and a busy person, the writing's all over the place. Now I'm cack-handed, left-handed anyway. Apparently I'm upside down left-handed, which Leonardo da Vinci was. Just saying. Right, for those of you who think that we're devils. Apparently it's really unusual the way I write. Somebody stopped me and says, it's not that you're left-handed. You're upside down left-handed. I don't even know what that means. Good night, my friends. I'm going to get a nice glass of red or two now. And then I'm going to go to bed. Listen to podcasts. I know. I'm of a certain age. That's what happens. The slippers and the podcast are waiting. Good night, everybody. Take care because I care. I'll see you down the road.